self-improvement culture can become the very cage it promises to free you from. And I do not say that to be provocative. I say it because there is a real phenomenon happening right now where the people who want to grow the most are growing the least. And the reason why is hiding in plain sight. Think about the last time you genuinely felt at peace. Not accomplished, not productive, not ahead of schedule, just at rest inside yourself. For a lot of people in this space, that memory is harder to locate than it should be, because somewhere along the way, the pursuit of a better version of yourself stopped being a journey and became a verdict. Every day you are not optimizing is evidence of failure. Every moment of stillness feels like falling behind, and that tension, that constant low-grade anxiety about not doing enough, not being enough, is not a symptom of ambition. It is a symptom of something much more uncomfortable to name. It is fear wearing the costume of motivation. Here is what actually happens inside the mind of someone who is obsessed with growth. The obsession creates a framework where your current self is always the problem and your future self is always the solution. You are perpetually insufficient. You are always the rough draft, never the finished page. And when you live inside that framework long enough, something strange happens. The act of chasing growth becomes a way to avoid confronting the parts of yourself that actually need attention. You stay busy becoming someone else, so you never have to sit with who you already are. That is not growth, that is escape. The self-improvement culture, and I use that word deliberately, is built around a very simple engine. Make you feel like something is missing, then sell you the thing that fills the gap. Books, courses, frameworks, morning routines, accountability programs. None of these things are inherently bad. Some of them are genuinely useful, but when you are consuming them from a place of self-rejection rather than self-direction, the outcome flips entirely. You are not building yourself up. You are reinforcing the belief that you are not enough right now, in this form, on this day. And here is where it gets almost cruel in its irony. The more content you consume about growth, the more your brain mistakes consumption for transformation. You finish a book and feel like you have done something. You watch a video about discipline and your brain registers a small reward as though the discipline itself happened. Neurologically, learning about change and actually changing are processed through different systems entirely. One gives you a hit of satisfaction, the other demands something from you. Most people choose the hit. Real growth, the kind that actually moves the needle on your life in ways that matter to you specifically, is almost always quieter and slower than the content suggests. It does not look like a revelation. It looks like a moment where you did the uncomfortable thing anyway. It looks like sitting with a feeling instead of immediately consuming something that numbs it. Growth that is driven by obsession has a ceiling, and that ceiling is lower than most people realize, because obsessive pursuit always eventually collapses into one of two things: burnout or rigidity. Either you exhaust yourself trying to maintain a pace that was never sustainable, or you become so locked into a system of self-improvement that any deviation from the plan feels like catastrophic failure. Neither of those outcomes resembles the person you were trying to become when you started. So what is the alternative? It is not complacency. Complacency is just obsession's lazy cousin. The alternative is something closer to genuine curiosity about yourself. Not the performative kind where you journal to say you journaled, but the real kind where you ask hard questions and actually wait for the honest answer. What do you actually want? Not what looks good in the narrative of self-improvement. What do you want in a way that is private and true? Because here is the thing about growth that obsession will never allow you to see. You cannot pursue your way into being present. You cannot optimize your way into genuine connection. You cannot self-improve your way into a feeling of enoughness, because the very act of obsessing over growth confirms the belief that you are not enough yet. The framework itself is the wound. the people who grow most meaningfully are not the ones who consume the most content or follow the strictest systems. They are the ones who have developed a quiet, honest relationship with themselves. They notice what is true. They act on it without needing it to be perfect. They rest without guilt. They fail without catastrophizing. And perhaps most importantly, they recognize that who they are right now has worth, not as a launch pad for someone better, but as an actual human being living an actual life. That distinction sounds small. It changes everything. You came here today, which means something in you already sensed the tension between chasing growth and experiencing it. That instinct is worth trusting. The obsession with becoming is costing you the experience of being. And no amount of growth content will fix that. Only you choosing differently, quietly, today will.